Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, the amazing T Street. Today's message is simple. Don't skip the process of why. I was doing an interview for a school newspaper for a kid in California the other day because I had spoken at their school, and they reached out for an interview. And they wanted to know a little bit more about me because, unfortunately, when I go into schools or into conferences, kids only get to see a glimpse of my life. They get to see whatever I put on the stage that day. And so, in the midst of the interview, the student said, "Hey, I just want you to know that I've been on Instagram and I've been following your morning coffee with teas." Of course, they get it 3 hours after I do it because I do it on Eastern time and they catch it generally on Pacific time. But the question that was posed to me is, why are you doing this series called Don't Skip the Process? And it suddenly occurred to me that I started this series, but I didn't really explain the why this year of my life in speaking and in pouring is talking about not skipping the process and the efficacy or the importance of going through life's processes. It occurred to me at the end of last year as I was reflecting on the year, and I had lost several young people to completion, I don't say unaliving, to completion of suicide. And it just dug into my spirit, man. And a part of it is we say, oh, it's a new trend. It's not a trend. Suicides have always been around. I never met one of my aunts because long before I was born, she took her own life. But one of the things that is interesting about this generation, I believe it to be the smartest generation. I believe these young people are equipped with skills and talents that would blow their own minds if they ever just released them. But unfortunately, they live in a time of social media that makes them believe that everything is like popcorn. It happens overnight. There are people in my own life who are like, girl, you just blew up out of nowhere. And they don't know that no, I've had a business for 10 years before I ever got the stage that I had been praying for. It's been a process. So when we don't talk about the processes of life, it's hard for young people to understand that there are rarely overnight successes. Even the influencers, many of them have been working on content. Content creators have been working on content for years and years and years. They just happen to put one thing out there that catches. And suddenly it goes viral, that one thing, and they become what people perceive to be an overnight success. And so we rob young people of understanding that in life, the things that are most sustainable are the things that go through a process. That's why today's mug says, he has made everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. In its time, everything is beautiful. But understand, every season is not beautiful. And so when I chose to do this, it's because I really want kids to see my heart. As I'm thinking about this last third of my life, what do I want to leave on the planet? I want young people to know the success is possible. But I always tell them, you can't be what you want to be. You can be what you work to be. They think that it happens overnight, and when it doesn't, sometimes it leaves young people devastated because no one has told them how to do the process of life. So if you notice every talk, I'm talking about the how. How do you get through procrastination? How do you persevere? The hows of it answers the why. I was in the shower and it occurred to me that I rarely tell the backstory except to adults of my life. I rarely talking about my juvenile delinquency. I rarely, in my program I do, because I need kids to see me for who I am and why they mean so much to me. But the process is only the thing that sustains me because I have been through, and that's where the quote for the year came from. The process to become the amazing T Street was hell. But the product that is the amazing T Street, and the reason that it's fire, is because of the process. That's why I encourage everyone, no matter where you are on your journey, don't skip the processes of life because the processes make the product so much more rich and sustainable. Had I not been through everything that I've been through, and I remember asking God, why did I have to go through this? Why did I have to get gang raped by 7 girls? Why did I have to go through this? Why couldn't you skip this in my life? And he said, because if I had skipped it in your life, your message for young people would have been water. instead of fire. And so whatever you do, whatever the process is that you're going through, do what my friend Rhonda Johnson always says. Everything will come to pass. You just have to wait on time. It takes time to produce the flavors in a meal. That's why people marinate it. It takes time to produce a successful career and a successful business. But when we don't let young people see the process, they believe that it's what? Quick, fast, and in a hurry. And when it doesn't happen that way for them, they become distraught. And many of them can't function. So it is our responsibility to help young people to understand the importance of the process. That's why this season is dedicated to don't skip the process. And so for the amazing T Street, the process to become me was hell. The product that is me is fire, because I didn't skip the process. Have an amazing day, and that's the why.